What's up, guys? Shawn Bowen, Full Circle Investment Group, and wholesalingoutofthebox.com. Back at it again for another lunchtime live. Today, we're talking about new construction, not North Carolina. It's like an on running joke here in our company. So, as you guys are joining us today or coming on, hang out with us, ask some questions if need be. Join the little button up there that allows Facebook to let us know where you're coming in from and who you are. That way we can try to answer some questions and try to help you if you have them. But today we're going to talk to what it's like to be able to make an offer on a home or a piece of land that is needed to do new construction from a raw piece of land. Or let's say you have a home on a lot that makes sense to tear down and build new construction on. So let's start with the first one of what it looks like for just raw land and understanding how that works. So in new construction, you want to understand zoning laws and zoning requirements, right? So I'm going to speak to our city, one of our cities currently that it's probably got the best tax website, which is Norfolk, Virginia. And it gives you a lot of detail. So it speaks to what the lot size is. It speaks to a hyperlink. If you go down on the file, that will hyperlink you to the requirements for that zoning, right? In this case, let's use SFT, which is single family traditional, or in some cities, they have SF10, 6, 8, 5, and all of those mean a specific code. And in this case, it would say the lot has to be so many feet wide by so many feet deep and conforming of everything of so many square feet completely, right? So let's just use one where it says it has to be 50 feet wide and it has to be 100 feet deep to have its minimal 5,000 square foot buildable footprint, okay? So this is going to allow you to understand if that home or that lot even fits to the existing zoning of what can be built, right? So you have setback requirements, typically 25 feet from the front and 25 feet from the back, and 5 foot on one side and 10 foot on the other. So these are details that you need to learn when you're looking at what zoning requirements are and is it even considered a buildable lot. Now, in the city of Norfolk, a non-conforming lot is a lot size less than the existing zoning requirement. So in this case, here in the city of Norfolk, we call these gym lots, right? They're typically 25 feet wide. They're 100 feet deep. So a complete square footage of 2,500. So these are considered non-conforming, non-buildable lots by the existing zoning requirement that says it has to be 50 feet wide and 100 feet deep. So you have to get into what's called a non-conforming buildable lot letter, all right? So this means that you've got to go in front of specific people down at the zoning board. They have to give you a book of approvals of plans that they say you can and can't build on. And then from there, you can decide if it's going to be worth your time, effort, and energy. Now, this goes back to you as being the wholesaler and want to make an offer, okay? So what this means, guys, is that you need to know the zoning. You need to know the zoning requirements. So as you're going through these leads, let's talk for one, for example, that we most recently did. We knew that the home was less than 900 square feet. The home was built in pre-1930, and it had just outlived its life, right? And it was just time to go and start from scratch. So what happened is the reverse engineer of this is almost the same way you're running comps when you're doing a fix and flip, and you want to run your numbers the same way when you're doing new construction, right? So the same principles should apply. The Mayo formula will work. You will be able to back into your number using between 70 and 75% loan to value again. And then now, instead of doing a rehab budget, you want to do a new construction cost. So locally here in this area, we're about $75 to $80 a square foot to build a new construction home. Okay. So quick math would say, let's take $25 or $75 times 2,200 square feet. And that would say that that house is going to cost $165 to build. From there, you need to take a tear down cost, which is about $4 a square foot. Okay. So let's say that home was 900 square feet. So $4 times 900, that would be $3,600. Okay. So you have a cost to build the home at 165. I'm going to take some notes here. And then another cost of 3,600 to tear it down. So let's take 165,000. 1, 2, 3 plus, what do we say? 3,600. 3,600 gets you to 168. All right. So total, it's going to be 168,000 to build the new construction home, tear the home down, and now you have a flat, brand new surface. Okay. Getting ready to go from scratch. So from there, you want to reverse engineer your number. Let's say homes are selling for about $300,000. So do your same math as you already do with your ARV. Take your $300,000 times your 70% loan to value. That should get you at 210. And then you want to take out your 168. So 210 minus your 168. And that gives you 42. All right. And then you want to get left with your wholesale fee. So let's say it's 10. So that means you can make an offer to the seller for $32,000. Okay. So the Mayo formula in these consistently works the same way, gives you enough room, right? But being knowledgeable in whether or not it actually fits to its existing zoning is something that you're going to want to learn. So where do you find this information on zoning? So most tax assessor websites will have what's called a muni code division. And that's where you can look up zoning requirements, right? And again, every city's got this. It's always in every single city. Doesn't matter where you go. But again, here locally, our tax website for the city of Norfolk is really good to where the link is down on the bottom where it says zoning. And then right to the right of it, it's got SFT, which is a hyperlink to the muni code, which is reading out exactly what needs to be done, right? What the details are, what the requirements are, the square footage of lot size. And then the other piece you really want to pay attention to very closely here is if it's in a flood zone, because then your cost is going to go up, right? The cost for the builder will go up. Now, this can vary different city to city, but these requirements are going to make it so that the bottom of the crawl space is higher above the floodplain, right? So then the starting of the home is above where the floodplain would actually be. So this is where your concrete blocking comes in play, to where it builds up higher. Between from typical is 3 levels, it'll probably take it if 2, maybe double that. So we got one person says, love wholesaling builder lots. I only says Facebook user, but I can't see who that is. But thanks for commenting. That's awesome. I do too. Guys, wholesaling land is a lot easier than most people think. I mean, think about it. You just have dirt to deal with. All right. If we get into a little bit more specifically, if you have raw land and you're trying to develop, right, you're dealing with what does it look like to say I can get so many lots based out of so many square feet, and maybe I'm going to do a road, right? And let's just say that road's going to be about $215 a lineal foot. That's curb gutter. Now you have a 2-way street. You have a bulb at the end where the cul-de-sac is. These all have to be accessible for emergency vehicles. Okay. So this is just understanding what you have when you're starting to look at these deals. What can your land be developed into? What can are you running well and septic? Is the city available to tap into for water and sewer? You want to learn these types of things when you're getting into buildable lots, or you're getting into what we call infill, right? So if you're in the middle of a city and you happen to find a single home in between other homes, these are called infill lots, versus you can get a development where maybe you've got raw land that was not parceled out, meaning it doesn't have its own tax ID individually. So this would require development and subdividing, where you're now laying lot lines down, coming up with specific tax ID numbers for those lots. And then you now have a buildable lot ready to start and build new construction on. This is not really complicated as it is deep, right? So this is not, you don't see a lot of people doing this. because it does take more time, effort, and energy to understand it, right? You got to deep dive this stuff to really learn the intricacies of cities, where your flood zones are. Locally here, we have something called the CBPA, which is the Chesapeake Preservation Act. If you get into a flood zone area and you get in close enough to that, you've got to pay into their fees in order to get into a wetland situation. There's a lot that gets involved with it, right? So understanding when you're getting into development is the idea here is you really need to know the zoning requirements. Very, very important. We have another person that said the price of wood went up. So that $75 per square foot, does it still apply? I thought it was about $100 per square foot. Yeah, so it did go up, which means their framing package didn't exactly double, but it got damn near close, right? So yes, the cost per square foot of building is going to go up. But again, that goes based off of what your retail price is going to be for the type of product you're building. If you're building $350,000, $400,000 homes, you're not talking about your ticky-tack vinyl box. All right, I consider those the $250 to $295 builder grade box, right? So yes, I agree. The price of wood did go up. Locally, I've got some guys that we've talked to where, again, it didn't double their package, but it did bring it up by, let's say, 20%, and pretty steep hike. So yeah, I would say you could probably get closer to the 85. But I can't see $100 a square foot. I don't know guys locally that are doing $100 a square foot. Not sure where you're from. I can't see who it is. If you just write me, hey, this is such and such, I'll know where you're at. But yeah, it's definitely gone up, but the prices are going up a little bit in new construction here locally. Not too steep. But for example, we have guys that are buying 80% loan to value, sometimes 85% loan to value, because they're trying to squeeze no inventory, right? But to keep rough numbers, if you're not local to Hampton Roads, get with somebody that's in your area. Get with a builder. When I first started doing new construction and when I started building stuff and learning about it, I got with a local builder. And to this day, it's a guy that I call all the time when I have questions about new construction because he's big into developing. So, yeah, get with a local person. Oh, hey, Thurston. Got it. Yeah, man. Here locally, for sure, you could probably get $85 a square foot and be okay, and be okay to where the numbers would make sense. In other areas, if you're not local to this Hampton Roads market, get with a local builder. Take some time, ask a few questions. You know, what's the square foot building price? What about when you have to change what if you have to change the sewer line and the water line coming from the house, right? Remember, if you're on a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and you're increasing the taps that are going into it, right? The flow and the exit of what's going into the home and coming out of it is going to increase. So you're going to want to have that information and know, like, is it locally here, we're roughly $6,000 for a sewer tap, depending on how deep it is. And then for a water tap, you're probably close to $4,000, right? So running a new main line and then a new sewer line, those are those costs, right? Josh is on here. What's up, man? Do you have experience with block construction? Are you referring to just cement block? No, I'm only used to stick building. I've built probably 7 of those in the time I've been in the industry. I've never built block all the way up. And then I would assume it was probably a rubber roof, maybe a flat roof. I'm not familiar with those. And I think down in Florida, that's probably why you're asking, because you're down there. But no, don't have any experience with that. If that's what you're looking for, I would get with a guy that does do that. Again, local market, local builders. You'd be really surprised, guys, at how these people will share this information with you, right? And especially if you're trying to bring them deals. So you want to get very familiar with the zoning. You want to get very familiar with what the cost is for tear down. I'm assuming block's probably going to be a little bit more expensive to tear down. It's a little bit more material, heavier, right? Usually most of that stuff done on weight. And then what does it cost to build it back, right? So that's $75 locally here. You should be close to 85 today's numbers. And again, reverse and engineer your number. That should definitely get you close. But really learn to understand the zoning. That's a big part of this. I can't stress that enough. Understanding that, you have to be 60 feet wide and the lot that you're looking at is 43 and a half, right? Josh says, yes, very common construction here in Florida and more desirable than stick. Also more expensive than stick. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So guys, take the time to get very familiar with your zoning sites. If you're going to be looking at new construction and understanding if you're going to get into that avenue, and it's a good one, right? Understanding is a piece of wholesaling. Understanding where it doesn't work to fix the home, right? The comment I always use is like termites are holding hands, right? Like the home has outlived its life. It's time to go. The only thing that really makes sense is to come in and tear the home down and build new. All right. That's understanding this is just another tool in your belt to be able to help you be more efficient as a wholesaler and be more knowledgeable. All right. There's always, I feel like there's just guys and people in this industry are just one trick ponies to understand like, oh, I just have to be able to do a cash offer. What if the owner owns that home free and clear? You don't need to come to the table with the purchase price. There could be a second deed of trust in place behind your new construction first loan in place, and you pay that seller off on the second, right? When you sell the home. This is getting creative, right? Creative financing, knowing what it's going to cost to build new construction. What if you could structure that deal, take it to a builder and tell the builder that you would take your note that you have and put it in play for them? You're saving them interest, right? And can you make a little bit of money by doing that? So this makes you a little bit more, I don't want to say efficient, but it gives you more tools in your tool belt to allow you to make better choices, have more choices, right? So really deep dive on the zoning. If you're trying to get into new construction, understanding what it costs to build a home from local builders is a huge help. And then take the time to learn these numbers. Take the time to learn how to reverse engineer, just like when you're wholesaling and fix and flip stuff or buying hold multifamilies, buying on cash flow, buying on cap rates. Same thing goes with new construction. It's just a reverse engineer of it. So don't overthink it too much, but definitely try to get with somebody local that has that experience as a new construction person. And when I say that, literally you're driving down the neighborhood and you see a home going up. There is a construction box typically on site, right? You can go to that construction box. You will see plans inside of it. You'll see permits inside of it. There's probably a phone number somewhere on there for the owner or the builder. If not, their own sign in the front yard, and call them and tell them what you're trying to do. Tell them you're trying to learn how to bring them deals, what they're looking for, and you'd be really surprised at how many are willing to help you. Okay. So guys, a little bit over time here today, but thank you so much for hanging out and checking us out. Again, today we were just reviewing new construction numbers. How do you come up with it? How do you go find them? And understanding how to dissect it in order to make an offer. As usual, guys, if you would, please check us out at wholesalingoutofthebox.com. There's always plenty of information over there to help you with. And we are working on constantly growing that thing. So any feedback is great. What you're looking for, what you need help with. As always, guys, reach out if you need me. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Later.